I got a story. Been meaning to post this one for a while. This is back around 2006. Early summer. I was just your typical 17-year-old kid. Parents moved a lot back in those days. But we always ended up living beside large forests, woods, or prairie places. Done plenty of exploring, with and without friends. Tons of stories, but there's always one that makes you look back on with no definite answer in sight. No matter which way you look at it. But this is how it went down. Played a lot of vidya, and watched a lot of TV. Taps was big in these days. People respected them, then. So, you can see, I was really taken by the whole let's go ghost hunting trend. One of my picks. Near my house, there's this big urban forest. Kinda like New York Park, split into 3 parts. Forest 1, 2, 3. Throughout the years, I had a couple of strange, unexplained events happen to me in them. Phantom smells, lavender, roses, simply faded away as quick as they came. At night, in Forest 2, which had a concrete foundation, where probably a house once stood, me and a few friends would see brief, bright flashes of light just erupt over our heads, with nothing ever there for miles. Too close down for planes. It actually lit up the ground around us, like if it were a hovering camera flash. Of course, now that I look back on it, it might have been a hunter's camera gadget strapped on a tree or something. One's guess. Then there was Forest 3, which had a cemetery in it. Caught a ton of EVPs there. Chilling ones. Most notable one. I asked, "Is there heaven? A hell? Why don't you call for God?" And a young woman replied to me in a sad tone, "There is no God." So there was some freaky stuff going on there. One day, I woke up early in the morning, 4:30 a.m., between 5. I recently bought this cheap $70 digital camera from Walmart and was extremely bored with it. So I figured an early walk in the forest would provide me with some unique pictures, which they did. If you want to see them. Probably not, but they're all from this day, and we'll post them. So I set out doing the same thing I've probably done 100 times by now. I'm jaywalking on the streets, and after a couple of blocks, hit the forest entrance, and I dive in deep into her. I spend the next 15 minutes just heading down the same known places I know. That would give me some good snapshots. So I take a quick snap here, and another quick snap here, thinking to myself, this is gold, son. All the while forgetting the whole entire wood is empty, silent, desolate, as I had ever seen it before. I usually run into 1 or 2 people by now, either jogging or walking their mutts, but nothing. It's a good day, I say to myself. Let's carry on. So I had this area called the safe zone. It's simply called that. On an account, it's wide, expansive, with a little sand dune and a tall tree smack down in the middle of it. But if you're under the tree, you can pretty much see all paths that string together Forest 1. I'm there, so I decide, let's bam it to the lake. I pick a path from the safe zone and head for it. It is at this time I sense an eerie feeling in the air, like I'm being watched. I ignored it, because at that age, I wasn't mature enough to that point where everyone learns to trust your gut feelings. Internal ringing alarm bell. Whatever. I stayed calmed and carried. I hit the lake. I'm tired from walking like 45 minutes of miles. Sun was out, but casting gray skies, with a sudden in and out drizzle between instances. I perk myself against the ledge underneath the cover of some trees, and with a low battery on my camera, just decide to hang out. while staring blatantly out at this lake be my recollection. Wasn't swamped by heavy fog or mist not 5 minutes ago. First time I seen the place like this, I told myself. Then, my eyes caught it from a distance. I'm frozen. Pic related. More pics. Gotta set the setting. I see a person draped in this loose sheet, what looked to be like a black tarp, just simply spinning. Spinning and spinning around in circles in a pond bush of dogtails. His or her arms open, widely, as if praising something repeatedly. I'm simply there, being as quiet as I can be, not moving an inch, barely releasing a breath, observing this mad person. This goes on for about 25 seconds, until the spin comes to an abrupt stop. I stared wide-eyed, with thoughts racing in my head. What's going on? What the fuck is this? Should I... I'm thinking to myself, you got a camera. Don't be one of those idiots who don't capture the shit they so desperately brag about years from now. Low battery. Bars practically invisible. Cheap ass Walmart brand. Don't die on me. I reach for it and look up and find him looking in my direction. I tell you, I saw no face. It was white, gray, whatever, like a doll. Was it a mask? I don't know, but I was terrified that I was discovered. Pinpointed out my cover. It was far from me, but it still managed to see me in like 4 seconds. So, I stare slackjaw, slowly lifting up my camera. In that moment, he, or it, lifts one of its arms out of its tarp and points at me. Just pointing at me from the distance, as if doing some ritual jest. Then, his arm drops slowly. You know the scene from Shaun of the Dead, where Shaun pushes the zombie chick into a steel pole, and she gets up, while Ed rotates the film reel on his camera? That's what I did. I lifted my camera up. Another one. Here. Battery officially dead. Then I got up, slowly backed away, and ran all the way back to the safe zone, and out of a dozen trails and paths, crisscrossing to my exit. That was a crazy ass day, I must say. 2 relevant pics coming up. Picture 1 and second picture.